I am so excited to do this video for you guys. Oh, wait, this didn't sound too excited. Let me try this again. I am so excited for this video, guys. I want to share with you 4 stories from my personal life on things that have already happened to me, and I have caused them by just thinking or acting on them. And basically, I want to walk you through the practical way that you can manifest things in your life with the results, with proven track record of these stories. Why? Because we have all those books like The Secret or Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and they're very nice. They talk about this, but sometimes it's like people don't trust those books and they say they're fake, and I can completely understand this because they're written in a way that it's more commercial and they're not really practical stuff that you can, kind of use or feel or touch, or it's hard to see it. And I completely agree with those people that don't really listen to those books. But guys, it works. And I'm gonna share with you a few stories. This video could probably be a little bit longer than expected, but I promise you it's worth it. I found out that there are like 4 different types of manifestations. So 4 different ways that things happen in your life, or you can trigger something to happen in your life. And I will share an example for each one of them, and you'll see what I mean, and you later can see how you can apply this, even if it's something that you think it's impossible or something that bad happened to you and you're like, it's a bad thing, and you're blaming yourself, but actually it might be a good thing. No? You see. So the first story I want to tell you is about my love with killer whales, or orca. Ever since I was a little kid, probably most people watching have seen the Free Willy movie and the sequel. I was in love with this movie, but mostly I was in love with that creature. And ever since I could remember, I was rewatching this movie many times. But also I started learning a lot more about the animals, because Animal Planet was the thing that I was falling asleep every single night. And back then we didn't have internet, we didn't have YouTube, so I was trying to find any kind of documentary about the animals, and it was hard, but it wasn't breaking my love. And later, when YouTube came and the era of internet, it was so much easier. I just log in and watch as many videos of orcas that I can imagine. And of course, during this whole period of, I don't know, 10, 20 years, I was dreaming about swimming with them. It was like, I don't know, every week or every month I was imagining myself doing this. And at some point when I was old enough, I started researching and see if something or somewhere it could be done. And at that time, I really thought it was impossible because there was no trips like this. I couldn't find absolutely anything online. And many years later, and many, many, many documentaries of orcas, I practically knew every single documentary about orcas that there was. And I've watched it several times. Actually, even today, like if I show you my Google feed of news, the first one is about orca. Let me show you. Although I kind of accepted that I would never be able to swim with them, that didn't stop me from dreaming and maybe even just seeing one in the wild. And at that moment, I remember it like it was yesterday. I was scrolling through the internet and I haven't had many new videos about orcas in the past month or so anyway, but the magical algorithm of YouTube suggested to me this video that you're gonna see somewhere here. And I watched it, and I remember I was at work and I was like, it took me like 3 seconds to find who was offering this trip and book it. At that time, I didn't have that much money and that was quite expensive. I didn't care. I was like, this was a dream coming true. Diving with orcas in the Arctic, and I was like, oh my god. I was like, ugh, I booked it like a year or a year and a half in advance, and the whole period of this 18 months was a dream. And the experience was like, you can go watch the video and you'll see what I mean. But the main point of this is that even if you think something is absolutely impossible, but you dream about it and you have like your whole body feels this, like it's a, to the point that you're obsessed with it, like you know this feeling, I'm pretty sure. This is the moment when magic starts to happen. So not only when you think about something, but when you really start to feel it and when you relate it to a feeling, and that is the practical side. So whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to have in your life, not only think about it, not only write it down or whatever, start feeling it. When you close your eyes, basically just be there. Be there, experience it, and at some point it will happen for sure, I promise you. The second story I want to tell you started probably at the same time that I booked the trip. One of my best friends told me, hey, do you want to go to South Africa? Because I have friends there, they have invited me. And I was like, hell yeah, of course, that's another dream on my list, to do the safaris and the wild animals. I'm in love with animals. Yeah, I'm a junkie about this. I was discussing with her how we're gonna do this and when are we going to go and when is the best time and so on and so on. And I was getting excited, another amazing trip coming. And at some point, she was like, you're not coming with us. We have changed the plans and we cannot take you. I was like, I was so mad. But she returned from this trip and obviously it was amazing because they had local hosts that knew where to take them. It was the dream trip which I missed, and all she brought me was a freaking key holder with South Africa on it. But that thing, that little thing, did just miracles. Because, call it luck or not, but on the trip in Norway, there was a guy that was organizing diving trips in South Africa, and not any diving trip. It was the Sardine Run, which I was only familiar with the term Sardine Run just because I was watching it over and over again on documentaries like the BBC Earth or Blue Planet or whatever. And I was like, we can do this? That's freaking amazing. And then some bells started ringing. We started booking the trip for like 2 weeks in South Africa and making it a much more of just a trip. It was like bucket list stuff every single day. I have a full playlist that you can watch on that experience. But the way that this happened is that just by playing with this key holder and with all the negative emotions that I had towards my friends that didn't take me on this trip, I also had a lot of I cannot explain it. This was on my car key, so I was always playing with this key like every single day when I was driving, when I was going somewhere. It was always in my hand, and I was always kind of physically there. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of when you're like have it physically in your world, the thing that you dream about. So surround yourself with the environment. There's a very good saying that the top 5 people that are around you, they make who you are. And I think this also counts for everything in your life. So the clothes you wear, or the stuff you have at your shelter, or at home, or anything, the car, this matters because this is the physical expression of you. And this little key holder was the reason for me to, by coincidence or not, go to South Africa and have the most amazing experience of all. So if you are dreaming about something, you can only not just start feeling it deeply, but also have the physical expression. So I can give you another example. If you want to be rich, first of all, surround yourself with rich people or go to places where people are rich or where you need to spend a lot of money for something, and start feeling this whole atmosphere, because it's completely different experience. Poor people have one mindset, rich people have a completely different mindset, and it's again a physical expression. And yeah, that's the second story. So physically surround yourself with anything you can. The third story started for me pretty bad. So I had a laptop that I wanted to change. It was quite new, but I wanted to have a little bit faster laptop, because at that time I didn't have a lot of money, and that was the laptop that I could afford. But I wasn't ready to invest. I actually didn't even have the money to sell my current laptop and buy the newer model with the bit better specs, and so on. And then something even worse happened. Somebody broke into my apartment and stole a lot of things, but mainly my laptop. And I was like, oh boy. So from dreaming about a laptop, I don't have any laptop right now. So anyway, during the next 2 weeks, I was with the police, with the reports and everything, and turned out that when I was buying my previous laptop, I had some kind of promotion about a warranty that covers theft. And yeah, it was a shocker even for me. So with the police report, I went to Toshiba and I told them, look, somebody stole my laptop. And about a week later, they called me and they said, listen, we don't really have this model, the same model that you had. So we have only a more expensive one that, it's a little bit better with the characteristics, but it will also cost you $30 to replace. So you need to give us $30. It will give you a brand new, better laptop that had the absolute dream characteristics for me that I was thinking about. And I was like, is this really happening? I remember even today when I remember, this was like 6, 7 years ago. Even now when I remember it, I'm like, this was so cool, such a great moment, coming out from something so bad, somebody breaking into your apartment. It's like one of the worst feelings ever. And that's the way we look at things. When something bad happens to us, we're immediately into why me, oh no, all the negative thinking starts flowing and you're crazy. But if you have this type of mindset that maybe something bad will happen only to make you appreciate something good that is coming after that. And if you stay too negative, and if you are very closed in yourself when something bad happens, it might stop you, it might block you from seeing all the good things coming. And that is something that it's hard to explain again in the moment. But really, guys, think about it. When was the last time you had something bad happen to you, and after that something even better follow it, and you were able to kind of appreciate it even more? And that's the tip number 3 about manifestation, that you need to kind of see the positive things in bad things. Something that happened to you was for a reason, and most probably it's for a good reason, because we are not made to suffer. Nobody wants us to suffer. We do this to ourselves. And if you see beyond this, if you see beyond what's happening right here and right now, maybe you'll see that the things that you have attracted to yourself are happening, but first this bad thing needs to happen to you. The fourth way to practically manifest anything in your life is quite straightforward, actually. It's just work your ass off, and that's it. And my story about this is that when I started my professional journey in the corporate world, I was very ambitious. Even in the early stages, maybe 6 months into my first job, I was like, I want to be managing a company. I want to have the full power, full freedom to do anything I want in a company, in a place that I will be well respected and that I'll achieve great things for the company and for the people. I wanted to be this person that makes people feel great that they work at a place. which was quite naive at that time. I didn't even know how to write a proper email at that stage of my career, but I was motivated. And then I started changing jobs and I started acquiring more and more skills, working extra hours, meeting with the right people, interviewing, stealing ideas and skills from anyone I could meet around me. And years later, after a lot of work, I was still not managing a company. I was at a normal job. And I recall a conversation with HR. When I was leaving that job, she asked me, okay, you're leaving for something better, but what do you want to do in your life? Are you going to keep changing jobs every year or so? And I was like, you know what? I still want to be a managing director. And at that time, I was like 28, I think, and I was nowhere near becoming one. And even 2 years later, when I was like 30 or almost 30, I remember that my actual goal is to become a managing director by 30, and I was working hard about this, but it was not even close. And then the opportunity showed. A recruiter texted me in LinkedIn, and I was like, oh boy, that is it, it's happening. And I knew what to do because I already worked my ass off. I had all the skills necessary. I knew what to say in the interview because before that I was working in recruitment, and it just happened. And it wasn't by chance, it wasn't magical. The recruiter saw my LinkedIn profile and said, okay, this guy is fitting for that position. And when I went to the interview, I just aced it because I knew that was it. It was just happening. All my efforts and all my hard work was paying off. And that's actually probably the surest way to manifest something in your life. It doesn't matter how hard it is in the beginning. Basically, this is life testing you if you really want something hard, and it's not just another, idea that you just have. When you really invest yourself mentally, physically, and you enjoy the process, at some point, there's no other way. It will happen to you. It will happen. You can call it luck or manifestation or the power of visualization or whatever you wish. But your efforts, your collective efforts, if you give it your full spirit, it will happen to you. There's no chance that it won't. No matter which one of the 4 manifestation methods you're gonna use, the most important is to have a winner's mindset, to have a success-oriented thinking, and this will going to drive you. No matter if you think something is impossible or something bad happens to you, or you decided to put all the work in but it's not coming to you, this is what's going to push you through. This is what's going to make you to persevere until you see it coming. And never forget that everything in this life comes exponentially. So if you start working really hard, there will be like no results. But at some point, the spike is just, it's huge. And anyone that has any kind of success can confirm it. For example, even YouTubers, you see them just working their asses off for years and then just blowing up their channels. And rich people talk about the first million, that is the hardest to achieve, and then the multiplication, it multiplies so many times and it just happens. So just have the winner mindset and never give up, guys, and you see amazing, unbelievable things manifesting in your life, and enjoy them. That's everything for this video, guys. My name is Z, and I'll see you in the next one.